Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is Ryan Staley, your host, and I have a very special guest with me on today. I have MJ Patton. MJ is the driving force behind Alveo. She's battery starter, the engine, all rolled into one, and I messed that up as well. But you'll get it. That's all right. We're gonna roll with it here. So MJ has created and led marketing teams for Fortune 500 tech companies, has developed successful go-to-market strategies for software, hardware, and services organizations. Most recently, she was at Tech Data and Insight, where she was the head of the global marketing for a global services organization. MJ, happy to have you on. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't boot me after I messed up your intro like 5 times. So anyways, why don't you give your background, your superhero origin story on how what kind of ignited the spark for the whole marketing bug you have, and then kind of how you got to this point to where you're at today.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to take you back, a decade or longer, where I first started my career. And I took actually a biz dev role. I wanted to be in marketing, but it's what I got at the time. It was right after the recession. And when I came into that organization, they didn't have a marketing department. It was a complete mess. And I was like, I'm going to take it upon myself to build a marketing department. And I got, executive support and so forth. And then one day I get an email, and I'm the kind of person who actually reads through the entire thread of an email. I don't know if you're that kind of person, but I like...
No, not at all. Complete opposite. I just look for the high notes. You know what I mean? This is me. Complete opposite. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I read through the entire thing. So I'm scrolling down. This is a long email, and I get to the bottom, and there's my CEO, and she wrote, "MJ should just stick to your job." And I'm reading this, and I'm like, I get all flushed, right? Because I'm like, what the fuck? And I run to the bathroom, and I just start bawling. Okay, so here I am, bawling my eyes out, not knowing what I should do. Like, do I go back and just be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna develop quotes and it is what it is, or was I going to take that moment and really become a change maker? And that was a pivotal moment in my career. And I think everyone goes through those type of pivotal moments where you can make a decision of like, do you back down or do you continue on? And for me, that was the moment where I said, you know what? I really believe in this. I know this is better for the company as a whole. And I decided I was going to push through. And it was a ton of work. But by the time that I left that organization, we had a 5-person marketing department. We completely rebranded. I redid their website. I was working on their platform, and we were optimizing the customer experience. And this is before like SaaS was like a thing. And, I've done that ever since then. Every role that I have taken, it has been to be a change maker, to build something that people didn't think was going to happen. And I love doing it. And that's why I have my firm, because that's what I help other companies do.
That's awesome that you decided like, hey, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and just make it happen. So let's talk a little bit more, because it sounds like you've gotten scrappy and had to create things from the ground up, which I absolutely love, because that's the same way that I approach things. So, I know one of the things you do is look at companies by stages in terms of their maturity, and then what to focus on marketing wise and sometimes revenue wise as well, based on the stage. So could you walk us through kind of those different stages and, just like the view or the mental model that you take when you're walking through that mentally?
Sure. So we have a go-to-market maturity model that we apply to all of our clients and to our prospects. And I actually apply my own business to this as well, so that way we can make sure that we're continuously maturing over time. It starts out with the opportunistic stage, and a lot of business owners, they know what this feels like. This is where usually the business owner is the one creating all of the deals. They don't really have a plan. This is really equivalent to the product market fit. They're trying to see if people will pay them for the shit that they're creating or the services that they're providing. And this is a great stage, and you have to go through this stage because this should be a lot of testing, understanding, the feedback that you're getting from the market, and then using that to move you on to the next stage. And the next stage ends up being repeatable. This is where companies need to start documenting their processes. They need to hone in on their focus. And in a lot of ways, this is where they're trying to figure out their go-to-market fit. So this is, can they sell the services or the product in a sustainable way? Have they figured that out? And then from there, it goes into scalable. So this is usually where we see companies invest in their infrastructure, building out their team, and really just accelerating. A lot of training is happening, and it's, all of the things that you would expect when you're scaling an organization. And from there, you then move on to sustainable. So at this stage, pretty much every dollar you put in, you should be aware of how much you're going to be getting out. It's predictable results at this point. And then you're slowly moving into the most optimal stage, and that's called, optimal, where you're constantly refining. You have completely integrated organizations. You have data sharing. You have the mature processes, etc. And companies actually go through this model multiple times because it's with every single go-to-market. They have to start at the beginning, and then they go through the entire process, and then they start over. But once you have it done once, you can apply that foundation to every other go-to-market as well.
Okay, so that works across, you're saying, product-led go-to-market, marketing go-to-market, sales go-to-market. Am I missing any? Those are the big three.
Yeah, so it should be a combination of product, or if you're a services business, service. So the services delivery, marketing, and sales. And those three functions need to mature at the same rate across the entire maturity model. So what I've seen is where I've had, let's say, a services org where their service management function as well as their marketing function matured very quickly. They got to scalable, right? But the sales organization didn't, and they stayed in the opportunistic stage. That will actually impact your ability to hit scalable and sustainable revenue growth because your sales team is still acting like they have to chase every deal. They don't have the processes. They don't have a plan, while your other departments do. And so it's not working together in an integrated fashion. So a lot of times when we come in, we actually map each of those departments and say, hey, we need to catch you up so you're all on the same page, and then let's mature together across the organization.
Once you get to $1 million in revenue, what foundations would you want to see in that $1 million to $10 million range for all of those before they kind of progress to the next stage?
Yeah, at that point, you should really know who are you trying to target and where are you having the most success. So win-loss is a really big deal around this. It's understanding how the market is taking in your service or your product. So a lot of times we ask to see that information, and a lot of companies don't capture it, or they don't capture it. So it's a lot of anecdotal information. But taking that and making sure that you actually document it, and then you do a lot of testing. So in many cases, that's what we end up doing is we collect the data from our clients. We look at where do you think you're seeing a lot of success, and then we build for that for testing purposes. That's when you start doing a lot of activity, and then you're collecting it and then applying it back to the strategy, right?
Right. Yep.
But in a lot of cases, companies don't end up actually leveraging the information that they're collecting, and instead just keep going, right? Like you have to go back and you have to look at what's been working, what's not working, so you continue to refine.
What would you say for you personally? What's your absolute favorite tool that you couldn't live without?
That's a hard question.
It could be a couple, MJ. It doesn't have to be one, but like with running your business, and you can even apply it to, one of the top 2 or 3 critical tools that you recommend customers use, right? Either way.
You know, the reason why that's so difficult is it depends on what your business is trying to achieve. So I've been in situations where I've had to build out tech stacks, and especially now when there's like, I think the last count was I don't know, over 8,000 different like tools and platforms and everything.
8,000 marketing tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sales is not as heavy. I think there's like 500 or 1,000 or something like that for sales.
Yeah, in marketing, it's insane, and so because of that, you get like this shiny object syndrome, and it's like, oh, we need this, and we need this, and we need this, and I've always cautioned my clients and the companies I've worked for about investing in tools that they can't fully integrate and to optimize. Like if you can't leverage that tool, then it's a waste of your time and your money.
All right, so we're just about up on time. Where can people find you, MJ? Where can they learn more about you and Alveo?
Yeah, so they can check out alveostrategy.com. Alveo is ALVEO strategy. And if you're curious about why it's Alveo, Alveo is actually Latin for channel, and that's our sweet spot. So we're fully all in on that space. But yeah, check that out, or find me on LinkedIn. It's MJ Patent, patent like the office, or the shoes, I guess. You can find me on LinkedIn and connect there. Happy to make those connections.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being on the show. We'll put that in the show notes as well so people can connect and reach out. But it was a pleasure having you on, and I look forward to seeing everyone on the next episode.
Thank you.